right, we're live.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, we did it. We did it.
Oh.
Hello, everyone, and apologies. Ooh, boom,
It's
iPad.
okay.
Apologies for the delay. We are holding this live stream from our new office, and well, not everything is ready here yet. And yeah, the internet we have just the default router from the local internet provider Telia, and yeah, it usually works fine in this space. We're in the like main space here now, like the chill area kind of place.
Yeah, the lounge.
The lounge. And yeah, usually internet works well for us here, but apparently the whole streaming thingy is a bit too hard on our little router, so we had to grab the cable and reconnect everything. But yeah,
and YouTube
it's all
was
fine.
giving some problems. It got stuck in the preview. Anyway, yes, we are live.
Yes,
thank
this
you all
is
for
the most
tuning in,
important thing.
and thank you for waiting. Apologies that we were a little bit late. We have gathered all the questions on the Mothership launch, and thank you for that. Thank you for posting them there. They were pretty thoughtful questions, and I felt like the new platform allowed for a better discussion, or like a better thought out questions than on the Telegram group. So we have prepared answers to all of your questions, or at least most of them, and we will have them on the slideshow. I hope you can see the TV screen. But basically, yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started with one more note from me that with this Mothership launch, yeah, we want to start. We are nearing the time where we can start proper discussions, and that's what we want to achieve with this new community. And already, yeah, going through questions today this morning. Those are some interesting questions, and we also felt that there was this a little bit of falling out of touch with our community, and rightfully so. There are some questions which really needed to be answered, and yeah, and we are really excited to hold this Q&A and address those. So let's get started. And the first question is about the criminal record issue of Dylan, preventing the launch of the exchange, and why is it not getting resolved? And I guess I know where this question comes from, because we've been discussing this issue a lot in our Telegram recently, but
I've been
it's
complaining.
not as big of an issue. Yeah, let Dylan explain.
I've basically been complaining a lot about the Dutch government on the Telegram group. But yeah, basically the situation is that the Dutch government won't issue me any written proof that I haven't committed any crimes. The certificate of conduct in the Netherlands is not a proof of that. It's just an okay, or a positive or a negative, but it doesn't say that I haven't committed any crimes, which is unfortunately what the Estonian government needs for the financial license. Now, of course, there are various solutions to that problem. For example, I could step down as a board member, and then we could go on and process the license. However, that also brings other particular issues with it, such as dealing with our banks, like I'm registered there, and removing me from the board would then cause problems there. Now, I would like to say, though, that at this point, this particular issue is not forming any delay for launching the exchange itself. Once it starts to become an issue where me not getting these documents from the Dutch government starts to threaten the deadlines that we have set, or like we start to get a product out or nearing to get it out, and it's still not resolved, in that case I will actually step down as board member and I will resolve it. But until then, it doesn't make much sense to do so.
And let me clarify here that this is a purely semantics issue, and the kind of bullshit you have to tackle and face and solve when you're dealing with governments and banks. And it doesn't mean in any way that there are any criminal records on Dylan's history. This is the point. There are none. But this is the purely semantics issue, that Estonians want one type of a document, and Dutch government just says, well, we think Dylan should be able to run a financial company. It's fine.
Yeah.
But Estonians want to, see the source. Like, why do you Dutch people think so? It's fine. Maybe you send us.
Yeah,
Dylan.
exactly. So I got a document saying, yeah, it's fine that Dylan provides these financial services, but it doesn't show why. Like, it doesn't show that I haven't committed crimes. So
and there is like Dylan pointed out, it's not a blocker in any way for our launch. And when this whole issue began, and Dylan saw that, well, apparently it's going to take some time because there are governments involved and all the stuff is moving not as quick as we would like to to put it lightly. And Dylan was very eager to just resolve the issue and step down. And at the same time, it was my call to delay this as soon as possible, because we see all together with all the roadmaps, it's completely fine. And this is the kind of an issue, I don't think that you guys should worry about it at all, because as soon as we know exactly the timelines, and as soon as we see, okay, we cannot battle the governments anymore, we'll execute this backup solution.
Yeah.
But for now, it just we still have several shots at resolving this issue one way or another. So it doesn't make sense.
I'm grabbing my laptop to be able to read your comments, guys, if you don't mind.
Awesome. So yeah, I hope this is clear. Let's move to the next question. Why are you working with KPMG, and why did you pick them over others? Is it a real partnership or just a service provider? So yeah, we do work with KPMG. We did work with PwC. We did work with Hedman Partners. We did work with New York Law. There have been a lot of law and accounting firms we've tried working with. And at the moment, we are working with KPMG on resolving the accounting issues and building up our financials department, so we can have proper budgets in place, so we can just basically have all the financial reports and all the financial stuff sorted out. There was this is again an issue of semantics about partnership and service provider. Well, of course they are providing us a service. At the same time, I wouldn't call it like a partnership in a sense that we are building something together. Except we are working on Mothership financials together. It's a partnership in a way that with why the reason why we have tried many different accounting solutions, accounting companies, is because accounting for cryptocurrencies, when your company has to deal with cryptocurrencies, nobody knows nothing in this space, and accountants, they for some reason, it feels like they're the most closed-minded people out there. They just like very often their solution is we don't know, and I'm like, how? Why? I have studied accounting for like half a year in university and just don't remember anything. But then I refresh my knowledge and I figure out, okay, this is how we should book those things, and there's just this lack of willingness to learn, I guess. And well, with KPMG, it looks like it's the least of all with them, and it's a partnership for them in the sense that they got to figure out how to do crypto accounting, how to do crypto taxes, and that's pretty interesting.
Well, we're also working with them to provide better reports and data to our users. So.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to explain a little bit about that?
Maybe you want to explain. This is another aspect here.
Yeah. So basically, KPMG is also helping us with making sure that the trades that you make on the platform are properly accounted for, and so that the reports that we can give you are already compliant for tax purposes, or that the numbers on there are the numbers you can use for your tax filings.
We can get into details about that when we'll be answering questions about our competitive advantages. This is one.
And I just was reading the comments. I just want to make one remark. You guys mention that we haven't applied for the financial license yet, based on our comments earlier, but we actually have applied for it. The problem is that the license or the application is not complete until I have this document. And so, yes, we have applied, we have contacts with the Ministry of Finance in Estonia, with the contact person at the Financial Intelligence Unit there, and we have been actively trying to resolve it with them, and they have offered multiple suggestions. They even have contacted the Dutch government directly, and basically, yeah, they have been really trying to help us resolve this. The problem is that they would have to break their own law by accepting my document that I have right now. So they can't do that, right? So until I have the right document, they cannot give us the license.
But they even accepted the rest of the documents. For example, all of the board members should provide those criminal certificates, and there is a requirement that they should be no older than 3 months. So in my case, I was also worried, like, oh, okay, again, I have to go get the certificate again when we resolve the issue. But in fact, Janos told me no, they accepted. Financial department accepted the papers which we submitted, except Dylan's. So yeah, I don't even have to resubmit. Like, the application is in progress, you may say. Yeah, is in progress.
It's just a procedural, unfortunate error.
Yeah. So let's get to the next one. Do you have any preliminary insights into the token listings on the exchange? Which coins will be listed, and what will be the future process of adding additional coins? This is a great question that we are thinking through ourselves quite often, because of course we understand that the coin listing process is one of those things which we can bring into the space. And for example, in our community, someone recently shared this article about the underlying
the dark
things.
underbelly of cryptocurrencies.
Something like that. And the way we want to build the coin listing process, we want to bring something new to the space with very well-defined rules how the coin listing happens. And I personally don't think that, yes, Binance was able to build a business model out of it, of listing coins and charging the ICO teams for doing that. I believe this is wrong, because what this business model achieves, it wrecks retail investors. It wrecks people who have no insight into what's going on, and they just lose money. And in turn, we want to focus our process on making sure that the right coins with the right teams get listed, that we can be reasonably certain in the future of the project, and proud to have the coin listed on the exchange.
It's we recently had a discussion internally on, like, okay, why would we list a particular token, and one of the discussions was like, well, like, we should be able to stand completely behind it, like as an exchange that runs a business, and it shouldn't be some scam project because we get money such as other exchanges charge for listings, but we should, like, stand behind the idea of the project and the developments there, etc. So.
Yes, and the main criteria, I guess, is that it brings value. When we list a coin, it should bring value to the users of our exchange, to market participants, to ourselves.
So maybe can we share, like, how many coins we will be listing on the exchange at launch?
Yeah. Of course. We are definitely set on having fiat on the exchange, and we want to have, since we have fiat, we want to build the fiat on Rampart into Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, maybe the biggest ones. The biggest coins should be there. Except again, we still apply the rules, even for the big coins. The rules still apply. The coin shouldn't be a scam, so Don't expect Bitcoin Cash listed there. Um, yeah, but in general, we are targeting the number of 10 to 12 markets to launch with, 10 to 12 coins. Of course, MSP is going to get listed. And yeah, if you have any ideas to share which projects, we can start the discussion. We are so happy to start the discussion with the community. This is why we need launch Mothership.cx.
Yeah, and I encourage you guys to, if there's a particular token that you would like to get listed on the exchange, start a discussion about it on our platform and list your arguments why, and let's have a discussion about it. We are open to do this with the community.
Dylan also had during our discussions. I remember Dylan had this idea that we can hold, in our office or during events, we can have teams who are willing to list on our exchange come by and give us a pitch. We can stream this pitch as well together. Like if we decide to list the coin, we can also share the pitch, the why with you guys. Share it like on the coin information page even. So yeah, this is. I hope even without detailed answers, what we can see is we are actively working on it. And we have the framework. We have the framework of
We are aiming to have about like 8 to 12 tokens on the market. The thing is that yes, the obvious coins we can announce, but the other coins are still going through legal review. You still have to see like, does it make sense to list these tokens? We have ideas, but this is not something we can announce yet. So I'm just reading the comments as we go. But that's some comments I would like to make as well.
Cool. Let me mention here that there are two areas with coin listings which we are addressing. Generally, our goals as a company, we have two goals right now. First goal is to launch the exchange, and this is basically it. We have to launch the exchange. And the second goal is it's not a finite process. We cannot just launch it and say boom, we are launched, we are on the moon. We have to prepare for what comes next. We have to prepare for handling all the AML KYC applications. We have to prepare for the whole customer support thing, for resolving the issues, for monitoring, for like there are so many things we have to think of, and we have to prepare, at the same time, we also have to prepare the strategy for further listing the coins. So first, we are speaking about the first group of coins, which is going to get listed on the exchange, which is 8 to 12 tokens. And then in our internal goal setting system, we also have a metric to develop a strategy for the next 12 coins, which we are going to list after the launch. So, and what we do across the whole company, we are mainly focusing this especially in the beginning, in September, in October, we are focusing on all the objectives which contribute to launching the exchange. And we are going to shift the focus as we come closer to the launch. We will be shifting the focus towards the preparation for the post-launch. Next one. Is it the next one? Yes, it's the next one. What will be the utility of the token? Shouldn't you have known at the time of the ICO? Will it be possible in the future to share profits with token holders? Yeah, as you can see, these are not the questions taken directly from what you sent. Yeah. Dylan just there were a bunch of duplicates, and Dylan just put them together in this nice slide, so we can address multiple issues, multiple questions from different people right away. So about the utility. The utility is twofold, and like it's good to have those two questions on the same page. So look, the plan is there was also another question about changing the numbers of the burn. Something along the lines, hey guys, right now the burn amount is 50% and 50% of the total supply, and you're going to burn 20% of the fees. Can we change can we vote to change this? So here, finally, I spoke to Janos, I spoke to everyone. Basically, we are finally ready to reveal the plan about that. So the utility for MSP token right now will be, the simplest way to explain it's quite similar to Binance Coin, to BNB. You will be able to pay your fees and pay with MSP, get a discount for that. We are working right now on together with the financial department and with the executive team. We are working on the exact schedule of the discounts. And again, like the fact that we are working on the schedule, it does not block any developments happening in there. The team is working on the system which accounts for fees and discounts. No matter that we're still discussing the precise schedule because the specification for fees is done anyway. So yeah, it's going to be similar to BNB with discounts for trading fees, and we are going to burn 20% of the fees which we receive. And what's going to happen next? Instead of changing the number when we approach the 100 million mark, 100 million MSP supply left, meaning half is burned, we want to reissue the token, relaunch the token as a security token. And this is exactly the profit sharing mechanism that we need. Because with profit sharing there is no issue. There is no question whether it's a security or not. It is a security when you share profits with people. It's a definition of security. So our plan here is that over the coming year or two, honestly, it's not possible to put a precise date here. There are so many variables here. And we want to ensure, the plan is to ensure that we can list security coins on MSP. And as we sort out all the regulatory issues and prepare the whole security token framework for Estonia and the EU, we will be able to relaunch the coin with the remaining supply, and have it as a security with profit sharing mechanisms built in. And at the same time, right away, you cannot just issue a security coin because you need an exchange where you can trade securities. So this is another thing on our roadmap to acquire all the necessary things like authorizations and comply with everything that we need to comply with in order to be able to trade securities on the platform, to list securities. And yeah, I'm not sure, I don't remember. Do you remember if we have the Genesis question down the line?
What happened to Genesis basically was the question.
Genesis? Yeah, there was this question. What happened to Genesis? Why, guys, you had only you put time into developing the solution? Why there was only one ICO there? Because Genesis, in a way, this is the reason why we still don't have the exchange. And we realized that way too late. Back 1 year ago, we have honestly estimated that Genesis project and doing the ICO for consensus would take us 3 months, 4 months tops. And in fact, it's ended up being way more time, and we haven't contributed much to exchange development back then, and it's only started in December. So it's just, yeah, doing an ICO is a huge thing. It's a huge project, and it drains a lot on resources, and it's also very time sensitive. When you have ICO going, you cannot you should address all the upcoming issues right away, and like it's very what I mean to say is that it's very hard to to stay in chill development mode and work towards the launch, and at the same time, it's very hard to split between running an ICO and doing the development within the team. because as shit hits the fan on ICO, all the work processes are disrupted, developers are pulled from their tasks and they need to fix stuff, SAP. So there is that. And with Genesis, this is exactly what happened to Genesis. This is the plan. We realized that there are two things. A, we cannot do those projects in parallel. B, Exchange is a system which can run an ICO perfectly well. You can have a special market.
Yep.
You can have a special market where where nobody but the company which holds the ICO are allowed to place sell orders, and with those sell orders you can model any kind of ICO schedule, like the discounts, the bonuses, whatever, and this way we'll be able to hold those security ICOs on our platform, because I honestly think that this is the future of ICOs. This is where it's going. It's going to be a security Kickstarter kind of thing for companies, and companies will be raising way less money than a lot of other companies raised last year than we raised. So it's. I hope I was able to explain how it fits together. That the plan is to acquire authorizations to be able to list security coins on our platform. B, reissue MSP within a year or two from now, whenever we hit this half supply left mark, reissue it as a security coin, or at the same time, when we get the authorization, we can reissue MSP right away as a security coin, attach it to the event of us being able to trade security coins. And then Genesis will be reborn as a new service on the Mothership exchange, allowing people to raise money in a more standard way, removing this thing that a lot of people who want to do an ICO, but they're not doing finance, they're not doing anything financial or something, so they start inventing some bullshit utility for their token. And for example, I had a call with Serge Faguet from Ostrovok, and we discussed that. We discussed that issue. He just was interested in ICOs and stuff like that, and right away, just even coming to the space, he was pretty clear that if he ever does an ICO, it won't be a utility ICO, because his product has nothing to do with finance, and he would be looking towards security coins most. And I believe that this is the right move, because it will allow the whole industry, the whole space, to have less scam artists, con artists creating those ICOs, and instead it will attract people who don't want to deal with utilities, tokens, and all the crypto stuff, but they want to raise money on legit, interesting projects, and they're ready to, this is VC 2.0, crowdsourced VC 2.0 kind of thing. So on to the next one, I guess. On to the next one. When will the token page go live?
Right. So the token page design and the implementation of it is already done. It's just we wanted to clarify internally some of the utilities of the token. Now that everything is done, I can promise that the page will be up soon. I think the new website, we're working on basically new content for the website once it goes live, because currently the website has been created for the pre-registration or pre-launch. So we are adding new content to the pages, we are adding new pages to the website itself, and so with that launch also the token utility page will be live. And I mentioned, I saw a comment somewhere else with one question which may be good to clarify as well. So we have discounts like that you can have using MSP, or you can get discount when you pay with MSP tokens. But are the other benefits that were attached to the token in the white paper, are they, what happens to them? That was a question. Can you?
Well, there was definitely the utility that we keep in mind, the whole customer support thing, the priority customer support. This is what we will definitely be focusing on, even though over time, I realized that we should be focusing on customer support for everyone first and foremost. Yeah, so there is this task of building up great customer support for everyone without any priority in there. But we might keep the priority customer support for largest MSP holders, largest volume generators, just because this is good for business. And I feel that people who contributed a lot to our project, they definitely deserve having direct access to customer support and having their issues resolved quickly, even if it means 8 minutes quicker than everyone else. It still counts. It still counts. From my end, answering this question, I'd say as we develop the fee schedule, as we develop the understanding of exact discounts, and we want to attach them, it takes a bit of time because we need to build a financial model and see how those discounts will affect the token supply and our income over the next few years until we move to the whole MSP security thing. So yeah, over the next 2 months, I'd say, to sum it up.
Okay, yeah.
Next one, why is the Trello roadmap not being updated at the moment? Should you keep it? You want to address that, Dylan?
Yeah, so basically we had some internal restructuring of responsibilities, and there are a few communications channels. I think that's actually the next question. Such as the Trello roadmap, which kind of got lost in the transition. Now, basically what we decided is to update the Trello roadmap to make sure that it reflects the actual things that are being worked on right now, our targets or our objectives for the next quarter that is going to lead to launching the exchange. We'll update this next week probably, and then, or at the end of next week, and then we'll start updating that on a weekly basis.
From my end, I must say that there is we are looking into ways of sharing more information of what's happening within the company with the larger community. And one of the things on my mind right now is sharing our OKRs. Thing is, when contemplating about that, there are some business secrets. There are some business secrets in those key results. Secrets about how we do tricks about our KYC. Tricks about different providers that we have to connect with and implement. And this just, you see, if we were a public company, it's one thing, but we are not. And there is this line where on one hand we have investors, and I really truly want to share as much as we can with the people who support our project. At the same time, if you look at more regulated space, like public companies, they have the responsibility of issuing quarterly reports, and that's pretty much it. So we have to find, even though those reports, they are very detailed, and yeah. So here it's a question of balance here, finding how we can communicate the progress and most important things, but at the same time I don't feel like sharing all our objectives and key results and incentives just out in the open. So right away you see how we have to introduce layers and layers of filtering what is public, what is not, what we can share, what we cannot. As much, you know, as much as I know Dylan, he is all up for as honest and transparent communication as possible. At the same time, we're in business. We cannot just let everyone read our email and look at the goals that we set for the company. So again, we can have a very constructive discussion on our forum on launch Mothership.6. Drop by there and let's chat. If you have any ideas, what are those things that you would like for us to share on a regular basis, and we can see what we can do. Next question: have you started auditing the code? Which companies will you contract to audit the exchange and make sure everything is safe? How much longer will that take? Yes, we will contact and are already in contact with a company called Security. This company led by Yegor Khomikov, an acquaintance of mine and an amazing security specialist, just like, you know, genius in security fields, with his blog posts and his research. I've been familiar with his work for quite a while now, so I'm pretty confident he's one of the best people we can contract for this kind of thing. And at the same time, there is a lot of internal work to make sure that everything is safe. And you know, this is the thing that that drags us down. This is the thing that does not allow us to be as startupish as we want. We cannot move fast, break things, because we are working directly with money, and we are working directly not with some bank money where you can call the bank and say oopsie, like this didn't happen, let's roll it back. But we are working with blockchain, and you know very well that basically we are working with money directly. So it's a huge thing. And what else I can say? There is another initiative that Anton is writing a scorecard, which is basically a set of requirements and outcomes for every position. Anton is writing a scorecard for chief security officer position, and this is a kind of position you cannot really hire from the streets. I guess we have couple candidates in mind. But at the same time, we are confident that for now, up until launch, we are fine with Anton as handling our security, because this guy is one of the most paranoid engineers I ever knew. So yeah, definitely some first-party contracts such as security will have a look at the code. But the internal effort is 100% test coverage for all the critical parts, the parts which are handling money, and multiple code review process when we roll out new things. And it makes things a little bit slower. It does. At the same time, safety is our first priority when building the exchange. Podcasts. When will the podcast series start, and how frequent will they be?
Yeah, I basically was working on more important strategy-related things internally. We have prepared everything for podcast recording. We have editors ready. We have the cover arts ready. Everything. It's now just a matter of recording it, and we already have agreed to start doing that ASAP. Now that we have answered some of the fundamental questions.
Yes.
Yeah, basically, how frequent it's going to be a seasonal podcast. So each season has 2 months and has 8 episodes. So every week has an episode, and then a month in which we have a pause to prepare for the next season, to invite speakers, etc. So the first season is going to be about Mothership. But the second season, the third season, etc., following up, is going to be more related to financial challenges faced by our target audience, about cryptocurrencies and name it. So every season will have a different theme. Yeah, and we'll start recording this as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think we can even let's discuss it live. Let's discuss it live and decide the due date for this thing. So right now, the most important thing at the company is to align everyone to launch the exchange, and we are focusing on that. And it's gonna take us 1 more week to make sure that we accounted for all the things that we have to do to prepare for launch and post-launch, that we accounted for all the things that we don't need to do. This is the hardest thing. We have to do so many things, and this is quite hard to distinguish what can be postponed, what can be thrown away, in order, because their resources are limited. And
Well, I guess it's rather simple. I mean, like our focus is on getting the exchange out. So any other elements that have no specific, don't directly contribute to that goal, are things that if we lack resources to get the exchange out, that are getting postponed. The podcast, therefore, is a little bit later than we promised, but it is because we were working on the exchange, which in the end is the thing that is more important.
Yeah. My point was that we, for example, for the first podcast, to record the first podcast, I want to prepare well for it. We need to record. It's basically gonna take a day, I guess, right? So for the next week or two, we want to make sure that everybody in the team is aligned and understands perfectly well the remaining scope towards launching the exchange. And yeah, I'm not going to spend a day on something else but this task. So as soon as we are deep, like a few weeks, couple weeks into the OKR cycle, then we can start recording the podcast. So I think 2-3 weeks from now we can record the first one. Okay. So next one, trading tournament. Can you give an estimated launch date of the tournament, or is it still unclear?
Right. Good question. So basically, with the trading tournament, the situation is that our focus is on getting the exchange out now. It has been taking long enough, and we have been, struggling a bit with certain elements to it. But we are very clear right now that the focus is on getting the exchange out as soon as possible. The trading tournament was meant as a vehicle to test the exchange. But to make a trading tournament fun and make a trading tournament possible, there's a lot of different elements that need to be developed as well, which won't actually go into the final product. And we would like to prioritize our development resources on building the actual final product, the live exchange, instead of building features that are getting disposed within a month. So therefore we decided that yes, we are still going to do an open alpha testing, which essentially the trading tournament was for. It was a test with fake money to see what elements of the exchange work, what elements don't work. But we're going to do this with the actual exchange platform that we're going to put live.
On testnet.
Yeah, on testnet with fake money essentially. And we are going to reward people for giving us feedback, for finding potential bugs that are in there, and help to clear out any particular issues that we can find together. But that's what our focus is on, because basically to launch the product, we need to utilize all the resources that we have right now. We can't afford to spend our time doing things that we're going to dispose within a month. So it's important for us to. It was a hard decision because we have communicated that we are doing the trading tournament, but then when thinking about it, in the end, what you as a user want is the exchange live. You don't want a trading tournament, you want the exchange live, and we all know and we want that ourselves. So we are prioritizing that over anything else.
Yes, exactly this. exactly this. For example, to make a point, to elaborate on the point, we even had separate Marvela prototypes, two separate designs called V1 and V2. V1 being the trading tournament, V2 being the real thing. And there are elements which are different. The dashboard is different. The login system is different. The things are different. And we instead of even like the acquisition of coins is different. And this scope the scope of work which we will throw away is just it doesn't make sense to spend resources on it.
Yeah.
It does not. And yeah, at the same time also running the trading tournament exposes us to reputational risks. And we will have to be there is this one more whole month of trading competition when the team can be focused, the development team can be focused on polishing further the live exchange. Instead, if we do the trading competition, they will be again addressing the live issues happening there, because it's such a huge reputational risk that, hey guys, you cannot even run the competition, the trading competition, how is it going to be with real money? So we don't want that in our lives, and in it's not aligning with the goal of launching the exchange and starting making money.
Yeah.
There are a few unused communication channels,
Yeah,
such as Discord.
I'll
What's up with that?
yes, as I just mentioned, we are moving to a launch.mothership.cx, which, yes, Samuel, is a discourse platform, but it works, and it works perfectly. Basically, we want to move all the official communications with the community to that channel, because we have found that we want to have discussions with the community. We want to have thoughtful discussions where everyone contributes using the same information. Unfortunately, when you're chatting on Discord and on Telegram, when you're having a discussion and someone chimes in later, he or she may not see the data or the information that was shared earlier, and it just doesn't work for asynchronous discussion. So the official community channel is going to be the platform, launch.mothership.cx, and we're going to discontinue Discord, the Telegram announcement channels, because the announcements are going to be made on the launch.
And on Twitter as well.
No, the Twitter is still going to be live. The Telegram community that we have right now, this Telegram community is going to stay live, and you can chat there and discuss, and we'll chime in so now and then for casual chat. But all the discussions, for example, the discussion about my criminal records extract, I would be happy to write up something about that on the community so that everyone understands the actual semantics of it, and realize that this is not stopping the exchange from launching, but it is an issue which is out of our hands and we are battling to resolve. This is just so hard to convey over a Telegram chat, and so that's why we are moving.
Alrighty, is there a plan for advertising awareness when the exchange is launched?
Absolutely. I am not going to share the actual strategy here in the live stream, but there are various initiatives that we are planning and we are preparing for sure. Like we have been talking to various partners. We have made entire lists of influencers and of channels where we can share our PR articles, etc. So this is something that we're definitely working on, and definitely we're going to do as much as we possibly can with the resources we have.
Market making on the exchange and liquidity, how will you handle this? So we are going to focus on fiat on-ramp. And we're going to use the services of different market makers and liquidity providers. And this question is interlinked together with the coin listings. Some of the teams who will end up with their coins being listed, they will have to address the liquidity for their coin themselves. For bigger coins, we will start with the liquidity providers and proxying liquidity between the existing exchanges and Mothership. Yeah, I'd love to dive deeper into the details, but that's the area where you start facing some business secrets kind of thing that you don't want to share openly how it's happening. But first and foremost, we will be running our markets in open and transparent manner, and this is the most important thing, I think. Anything else you want to add?
No.
Let's do the next one. Do you plan to hire a competent project manager in the near future? As it can be guessed, that constantly missed deadlines are signs of bad project management policies. Look, yeah, I really liked the question. We did make a mistake with project management indeed, but at the same time we made a mistake with every imaginable thing possible as well. So it's like it's not that the bad project management policies are to blame. If we take the whole big picture and ask ourselves question why the exchange deadlines are missed, what the biggest thing is that we started working on Genesis rather than on the exchange a year ago. This was much bigger than a hiring mistake with the project manager. We are not hiring a project manager until the launch. Anton is now working directly with the team. We have a new developer join us who has nice leadership skills and showcases that he can cover for Anton, which when Anton is away, which is exactly the case for the next week. So in this environment and with these goals, we don't want to introduce one more layer of management until we come to a later stage where we are on the market, we are selling our product, and we are nearing break even or something else, sometime around that time. So I would say that yes, Anton definitely needs more help on the project management side. It takes a lot of his time right now to do that, but it's been resolved from the other end, I guess. And still, the technical team is still quite small. So yeah. We bet on the team under Anton's leadership being able to ship the exchange live, and we'll address the project manager issue then. We are always open to talking to talented people. So even up until then, if you know someone, feel free to refer them. We are not closing the positions, the job positions on Lever, so people still can apply, and we will still be looking into CVs. Yeah, thing is, it's not easy to hire the right person, and it won't be the focus. It will not contribute if we hire a project. Look, right now the gospel that I'm spreading around the company, the ultimate rule of thumb for us deciding what to do and what not to do. If it contributes to launching the exchange this year, we are doing it. If it has to be done for the exchange to launch this year, we are doing it. If it does not contribute to the exchange launch, which is the case for a project manager, because if we spend 1-2 months on getting him on board, he joins end October, he needs 1 month to get onboarded with the team, we're coming to end November, we see it just wrecks all the established practices and workflows within the development team, and it contributes nothing to launching the exchange. So we are not doing it until we launch the exchange, and we'll reevaluate afterwards. Yeah, continuing on the same topic, another question. I understand the right fit is key. However, what about other operational roles? Why is it that Mothership has not hired those yet? HR manager, office manager, accountant. Let me start with accountants. As I mentioned on this live stream already, accountants, it's not easy to find an accountant who is eager to learn. So it's gonna take us time, and we don't. Thing is, right now we are building the core of our team. These are people who are launching the exchange with us. These are people who are building the product with us from the very beginning. And we, me, Anton, Dylan, we are now controlling directly the hiring in the company. So until the company grows to a point where people have to hire without me interviewing someone, I'm going to interview everyone who comes to this company. I estimate this point at, I don't know, maybe 100 people, maybe 50 people. We will see when people will start hiring by themselves. But HR manager, okay, let me explain about HR manager. We have adopted the who hiring method at Mothership. And we have read everyone who makes hiring decisions, who does interviews. Everyone in the company read this book. It's called The Who by Geoff Smart. And this book introduces a pretty simple but very effective method. We've been applying this method for a while now, and we see the results. We see the results improving, the hiring success rate improving. And we just, sometimes we remember our interviews like 9 months ago, so 6 months ago, and it's just, Mari is giggling there about those interviews. This is a world difference now. And one of the interviews in the Who method is called the Who interview, where there is this set of just 5-6 questions. And you start with the person in the very beginning of their career. So you begin with the question, so you graduated or not. Then what? Then what happened? And then you go over every place they worked at. You ask, you listen very carefully. You have to have 2 people on this interview. One person listening very carefully and having a conversation, a real deep conversation with the person. Another person as a sidekick taking notes and noticing also, another pair of ears, trying to understand the person as well as we can, trying to get stories out of the person's stories about their previous experience, how they handled conflicts, how they communicated with everyone else, what do they think about their boss, what their boss thinks about them. After that, we have to, we are writing down all the names of people with whom the person on the interview worked together. We are making reference checks. We are really like calling people or writing them emails and asking them, what do you think? How was it? And while I'm telling all this, we need an HR manager who will be in charge of this whole process, who will be able to build up the interviews, build up the processes, take care that all our candidates get their replies in a timely manner, that everything is moving. There are just so many things to organize. So, and again, does this contribute to launching the exchange? No, not a priority. We do need an HR manager for a post-launch though, so it's second grade priority kind of thing. So yeah, it might sound easy. Office manager. Thing is, I don't want anyone to get into the company without the Who interview. Even the office manager, if they need to only buy Red Bulls and make sure supplies for the office are never ending. Still, this is the person with whom you spend most of your time at the office, and I'm here like day in, day out. So without deeply getting to know the person, making sure it's the right fit for the right place, and this person, even as an office manager, they should be able to handle crises well. They should be able to. There are just so many things. So, as much as we need hiring for scaling, at the same time, making a hiring mistake is very expensive, as we all can see. So we're doing our best not to make one anymore. Let's get to the next question. How are you going to compete with the likes of Binance and other exchanges as they're slowly getting fiat trading licenses as well? Dylan, you want to get started, and it's I'm a bit dry after.
Yeah. So the thing with fiat trading in itself is not, and I think, in my opinion, has never been a key competitive advantage. It's definitely something that adds value to an exchange, but in the end, we have to figure out how to dissociate ourselves, or not. How do you say that? Like basically meaning like we are a different kind of like target audience. We target a different audience than a Binance does. We are a different kind of exchange, and the markets, basically the center or of the project, the exchange, will basically be the same. But them being in the same market doesn't mean we won't be able to acquire customers with a specific focus. So there are 3 specific target audiences that we focus on.
Yes. Starting with crypto traders. Crypto traders, our investors, the whole trading community is the first group of customers. Second group are digital nomads, or location independent entrepreneurs, and third group are small medium businesses, enterprises, also location independent, so operating globally. And there are these are the main customer categories that we have outlined. And the reason we have to launch the exchange is to start testing different theories. To start testing theories about how we approach each of those customer groups, and testing our ideas about what value we can create for them in order for them to use our exchange. On this note, yes, exactly on this slide, I wanted to get back to the whole accounting thing. Accounting KPMG, Dylan mentioned, KPMG helps us understand the accounting structure for all the trading transactions happening on our platform. So what we realized is that there are approximately 20 to 30 different types of transactions which can happen, and these include trading on spot exchanges, just exchanging your assets one for another, trading on margin platforms and going long or short and taking profits or loss from your position. These include even getting referral payouts from your exchange, paying transaction fees, paying all kinds of fees. So let's say 30 different financial actions which you may take as a cryptocurrency trader. And for all of them, we understand how to for all of them, we understand how to book those transactions in Estonian accounting system, which is the Estonian European. It's the same international accounting system. And what this means is that we will be able to provide you the kind of data on our exchange, the kind of data which automatically does all your taxes and accounting if you trade as an Estonian company, as a European company. And we can even take this to a point where you, using e-residency, you sign up for Mothership, you create a brand new Estonian company, and from that point onwards, we take care about the taxes and accounting for that company. All you do is trade. You deposit money. We automatically know how to book it on your books, their money deposits. You trade, you make profits, make loss, shield your links and get referrals. All of this is on the books, neatly put together according to international accounting standards. And so, you know, we can just report to the authorities whatever needs to be reported, and you don't have to think about taxes and accounting if you are using the system. And this is the kind of, you know, long-term vision. Of course, we won't be able to create it like that, and we are identifying first steps towards that. And one of the benefits of tracking the movement of money on the platform, not only in terms of like balances, right, but also in terms of keeping the accounting records, is that we can infer very interesting numbers from that. We can infer numbers such as average entries, such as your profits and losses over different time periods, and we can view them. Doing the accounting properly, we can view them through the lens of different currencies. So you'll be able to see your earnings in fiat over the past month, for example, if your aim is to earn fiat. Or you can have this toggle in the corner somewhere. You press the toggle, and now you're seeing the picture in Bitcoin, pretty much like you can see on Blockfolio, right? But even deeper with more numbers which you can infer. For example, we can understand whether, and show you and teach you whether it's best for you to hold your long-term positions, or you're doing best with day trading. We can understand which positions you bought for long-term, which positions you bought for just day trading, and you can see those numbers. You can make better decisions, like, oh, okay, I should maybe not do day trading anymore because I make like this much more just by hodling. So these kind of things. And yeah, we will start. This is what we are going to test. We are going to test when we launch the exchange. With just you know, probing here and there, not creating the whole feature, not creating the whole service, but creating an MVP and seeing the reception, seeing whether it sells and whether we should pursue it. And so yeah, this is the plan at the moment. Ready to go to the next one? Will you have leverage trading and futures contracts on your platform? So yeah, Janusz is figuring that out. The current view is that we don't need any licenses for that. And answering the last question, yes, the team is working on it. And yeah, the current view is we don't need any licenses.
Any additional licenses?
Any additional licenses. So at the moment, I think I'm repeating myself over and over again. Our goal is to launch the exchange. So leverage, trading with leverage is, you know, is a great priority post-launch. It's a great priority post-launch, and this is one of the features we'll be focusing on after we launch. For now, we have this understanding, and Janusz has a lot of things that needs to be done to launch the exchange. So I think, you know, you may not expect any progress on this one until we launch. Except that I can say that yes, of course, leverage is really interesting in so many aspects, in so many ways for us. So as we launch and regroup, we will find a way to bring it on the platform as soon as we can.
Definitely on our minds, and in the planning, just not when.
Localizations.
Yeah, let me speak on that. So basically the answer is neither yes or no per se. It really depends. First we'll see what markets make the most sense, and if those markets require a different language. For example, if we see that a lot of people from that country want to support us or want to reach out to us or to our support in their native language, then that is something that we can definitely look into, but it's not something that we should spend resources on right now before launching the exchange. Also, if we change the exchange itself and the communications into another language, we also need to be sure that we have support staff that speak that language, because if everything is in that particular language, they are expected to be helped in that language as well. Yes. So it's a little bit of a tedious exercise, because you need to find the right people, but it really depends on whether it makes sense from a strategic standpoint.
I think the moments will happen as we find the market fit. As we right now we have to launch we are even pre-product yet. We have to launch the product. When we launch the product, we will have to find the market fit, and we will have to break even, and then take the company from there. So and from there, when we have the market fit and we broke even, or we are on our way to break even, the scaling begins, the scaling period. So the localization in different languages, it's more about the scaling period, and we are just not there yet.
Well, if it makes strategic sense to acquire a particular target audience, from a particular country, then absolutely. Yeah.
Agree on that. What's happened to Genesis? Well, I
think we already discussed the answer. Basically, Genesis as a standalone platform doesn't make all too much sense when you can launch ICOs on the exchange itself. Plus, thereby, all the people that are on the exchange are already KYC'd, so they don't have to go through that again, which makes it really easy for projects to launch. Our aim is to become a securities exchange, or allow people to trade security tokens on there, and thus also raise for security tokens. And once this comes together, I think Genesis is back alive, but then on the exchange platform. Yeah. So it's instead of it being a different platform, it's going to be a service on that adds value to the exchange that we have.
And for us as the exchange is the best way to do it, because if we do it via the exchange, and we still can, for ICOs themselves, they still can use the exchange API to build, however, any kind of pages they want, like promotion pages with like forms to buy their token, and underneath it happens through the exchange. But then the distribution also can happen through the exchange. And what this means for us is that we will have a great shot at capturing the volume on this new coin and becoming the primary market for this coin, and the whole ICO and further trading starts first and foremost on Mothership. So this is the plan. Are you going to launch a mobile app, and when? Yeah. Yes, let me elaborate on that. So with the mobile app, we are actually going to launch 2 mobile apps. And one mobile app will come together with the launch of our exchange, and this will be a 2FA and KYC app. We decided to even a few months ago, we had this idea of creating our own 2FA app, just as the beginnings of Mothership mobile app. The way I see convenient 2FA is, maybe some of you tried it with Gmail, where you can set an app on your phone to act as your 2FA. So wherever you try to log in into your Google services on your phone, just a notification pops up and you press yes or no. And it's even better on Android devices. On Android devices, you can press yes or no right on the notification, so it's very easy. It's very quick. On iPhone, you have to open the Gmail app, like you have to tap the banner, and right away you see yes, no, you can allow that. So we wanted to do that app, and then we figured a way for us to also add KYC to the app, and add it in a very interesting way that you will be able to choose one of the 2 ways of how to confirm your address. On one hand, there is this industry standard of submitting utility bills from your bank, from your telecom provider, or your flat rental.
Just had to do it again.
Yeah, there is this thing. On the other hand, since we are aligning with e-residents and we are targeting people who are location independent, it's been constantly on my mind, and one of the things that we've been thinking even before starting the company, that it's hard to for a lot of people it's hard to acquire that paper, and we figured that there is a way for us to still offer trading on fiat markets, crypto to fiat, and like all the functions of our exchange, and not require the utility bill. Instead, you may opt in to use the 2FA app, and the 2FA app will record the location information, SIM card information such as telecom number and carrier country, your cell carrier country, and like IP address and a bunch of other parameters. And all this information combined is good enough for us to be compliant with the regulations. And what this means is that, you know, we are still working on the exact specification, legally speaking, and we are working on building the app itself. It's a quite simple app, and the most important thing here is to build the process of actually, you know, confirming that this data is good enough. And
yeah, if I am able to chime in there a little as well, basically the app we will launch with will be meant for KYC and two-factor authentication purely as a security factor and as a convenience factor for KYC, especially if you are a digital nomad, for example, and traveling around the world and cannot produce a utility bill on the spot, which is an experience I've had various times. However, after we have launched the exchange and we have the resources to expand on that app, you don't have to go and download a new app again. Like, we can build upon that app to show your balances, for example, and do whatever else. So it's a start of the app. It won't be a complete app, but the development on the app itself will be continuously following over the years.
Why I said about two apps, this KYC and 2FA app is going to be a native app distributed through app stores, and we're still looking into the technology which we want to use for our exchange app, because we might want to opt out for PWA, which stands for Progressive Web Applications. This is like the third iteration, I think, in the industry of trying to make mobile apps and web apps the same and build this, you know, web-based technology for creating mobile apps, because we don't want the whole cryptocurrency trading issue with app stores, with iOS App Store, and with PWA. What you do is you go to the website and you pick the add to home screen option from the menu, and then it behaves pretty much like an app. It behaves pretty much like an app.
Yeah, the iOS policy is right now that you can't issue any cryptocurrency related trading apps on the App Store, so it's not possible for us. Yeah, except exceptions.
Except exceptions. So yeah, there will be an app. There will be an app, and there are two different outlooks on how we approach that. Yes, of course, the last one. When exchange? When exchange?
So I first would like to mention to the community, I've been reading the comments during the live stream, so I know what you guys have been talking about. One thing is that we understand that, you know, there have been deadlines missed that we have previously communicated, and yes, this may have been our fault. The thing is that for us right now, we want to share openly what we can discuss, what we know, but the only way to really restore your faith is launch the product. So this is what we're focused on. And yeah, maybe Arseny can elaborate on when we plan to do that.
Yeah, with pleasure. So we have set a goal for the whole company to launch the exchange, like I mentioned multiple times already. And we want to launch the exchange this year. And we've been looking at, there is still a lot of work which needs to get done, but at the same time, when setting this goal, We saw throughout the whole company, throughout product and engineering and legal, finance, marketing, all the departments, and we see there is nothing stopping us. There is nothing stopping us from launching the exchange this year. So then we thought about the latest possible launch date. Latest possible launch date is 12th of December, you can say, because there is Christmas on that hand, and after pushing for several months towards the launch, the team will be a bit exhausted. So I want to make sure we'll be able to also not screw up Christmas for everyone. Like for me, I don't care. I will gladly be launching the exchange during Christmas, but people have families and stuff. So there is that. And right now, what we're doing is we're using the system for goal setting and for creating a focus, aligning the focus of all the departments, all the teams. The system is called Objectives and Key Results. We have tried implementing the system in the beginning of summer. I think it was May, right, our first iteration. It was May. Again, all heads of all teams and the whole executive team, we read the book by John Dewar, the person who worked with Andy Grove at Intel, the inventor of OKRs, and then later advised Google, Uber, and a ton of other companies on implementing OKRs in their companies. We read the book called Measure What Matters, written by this guy, and we found even a coach, a company which provides OKR software and provides us with a coach, helping us properly define objectives and key results. And this is a quite simple system to explain, where you have an objective where you want to get, and you have a key result or multiple key results for a single objective. How do you measure that you got there? How do you measure? They should be all together. When you achieve all your key results, which should have a number. For example, have 10,000 users by this date. When you achieve all your key results, you should be absolutely able to see that the objective was achieved as well. And then we just write those things for all the teams, and we align those. We have set the OKR for the whole company. The company-wide one is to launch the exchange. And we are now in the process. We have had this week, we have had the first preparation week of this OKR cycle, and we are taking the next week. We're extending the prep cycle for the next week as well. It's actually advised in the book to have it 2 weeks, and we try to make it one. And yeah, there's just still a lot of things to align. So, but it's coming together. It's coming together, and I must say that as leadership team, as management team, we have never had such a clear picture on what needs to be done to take us here or there yet. It's our second attempt at integrating OKRs, and this time it goes very, very well. And coming back to the question why I'm telling all this, according to our OKRs, we should have the part of the exchange, which is the matching engine and accounting system altogether. Accounting, when I'm saying we have like a little bit of semantics issue here, the part which moves balances between multiple accounts. This is I gave an update on this in the group, I think, and this one is going to come together in the next 2 weeks. And hopefully, again, 2 weeks, yeah.
It's that's by accident, but it's basically the foundation. After that, it's only the KYC elements that need to be implemented, the fiat deposit and withdrawal. We are still currently, unfortunately, dealing with banks is very time-consuming task. We have been spending 1 week to clarify our address with a bank last week. It's just, it takes time to go back and forth with banks, and we have to get their banking APIs to be able to see when someone deposited fiat into the bank so that we can issue them Bitcoins and work with various payment gateways. This takes time. We are almost there. We just need to get those APIs and implement that, but that's not the hardest part. The hardest part is the foundational structure of the exchange, but that is almost done.
Yes, yes. So in terms of technical stuff, the team is still engaged in the, and it's been only 1 week since last update. The team is still engaged in the massive refactoring on the backend side, and this is going on track according to the schedule. 2 weeks ago it was 4 weeks. Then 1 week ago it was 3 weeks. Today it's 2 weeks. It's going on track. So we're soon gonna have those, and pretty soon after this is shipped, I think we'll be able to do the whole alpha testing thing and start inviting people. At the same time, there might be some delays with other systems. But our ultimate goal being launching this year, we rally the team towards the date of 12th of December, and which means 12th of December opening the exchange to users.
Yeah,
so it means that
with fiat and with license.
That we want to have a month before that, on 12th of November, a month before that, we need to have the product, the fully functioning testnet product. I think the latest we can afford is to have like 2 weeks between we have the functioning testnet product and launch. So like mid-November, late November, the public alpha beta version. So it can happen then. Ideally, it happens closer to 12th November. And again, we will be, since we are refreshing this whole communication loop with you guys, please don't take those dates as like final concrete dates. We'll be updating on those as we go. And with an ultimate goal of launching the exchange this year.
Yeah, there's 2 things that I want to address based on the comments. There's one slide I forgot to put in. First of all, I want to comment to why. You mentioned that 10x had a similar problem with the license, and that the license for them takes 2 to 4 years. I'm not entirely sure what license they applied for, but here in Estonia, the general timeline for a license application is 30 days. If you go on the website, you'll be able to see that they have to give you an answer, a rejection or approval within 30 days. And if you get a rejection, then they will tell you what you need to improve, or if there's any problems with the applications like we had, because we did submit our application. It's just my document that isn't coming through, and therefore they can't approve or reject our license. But yeah, this is for a license that allows us to hold customers' funds, which is required in Estonia, custodian license. And the second license is for fiat to crypto, crypto to fiat. So be able to deal with transactions that involve fiat, for which we have to have in place the right KYC procedures, the right AML procedures, etc. So the application has been applied for. Once the document is issued by the Dutch government, currently the issue lies with the ministry in The Hague. Once they issue it, we can submit this to the authorities, and within 30 days they have to give us an answer, whether they approve or reject it. If we see that we are getting too close to launch in December, and we still don't have this document for me, then I will step down from the board and basically allow the exchange license to go on. And we'll deal with the other problems at hand then, but that has the priority to be able to launch with fiat. The second question was about the burn. Samuel, I read your questions. Don't worry. Basically, yeah, I'll let Arseni explain, but we did do the buyback. We will do the burn.
Yeah, you know what I can do. So we did the buyback on Cryptopia and HitBTC, and I have withdrawn all MSP that we bought back to a single address from both of these exchanges. And just give me some time right after this live stream. I'll share with Dylan the wallet, so you can go and check it out on Blockchain Explorer yourself. It's there safely. Nobody touches it. Thing is, there are two ways to burn a token. One way, as was mentioned in the community, you can send it to OEX address, to a null address, and it's gone. Thing is, you won't see on Etherscan, you will not see the updates to the total token supply. It will still be on this like an accessible address. You can just send it to a random. You can send it to a random valid address, but then the supply still will be there. And then there is another way which we have implemented in our ERC20 contracts, where you can just trigger the burn function and burn the coins, burn the tokens. And then the total supply will change. They will be burned for real, not just thrown away, stashed on an accessible address. So we want to do that. So we want to have the total supply updated because we have this functionality in our token. And there are, for example, different websites. Like, I don't know if CoinMarketCap does it. I think it does not pick it up, but a lot of coin information websites, they pick up the total supply from the Ethereum chain. So we want this to be reflected, that there is less supply now. And the problem here was that back then, when we were putting together the contract, we created it as a function, and we now need to get in touch and coordinate with blockchainlabs.nz, which is the company who helped us review and put together the smart contract back then, before the ICO. So, and they are working from New Zealand, as you can infer from .nz. So, and for some reason, the whole communication, it takes so much time, and it's becoming annoying for us as well that it takes so much time. But what we want to do is, like, right now we need to coordinate with them in order to execute the burn. But what we want to do is to make it so we don't end up in the same situation ever again. And we will create, instead of just burning the tokens, we are creating a special address where you can send your tokens, and they will be burned for real, which is what we wanted to have, I guess. But it never was a priority. This issue is in the backlog since ICO or something. So we are addressing that, and yeah, Dylan will share the link to the wallet where the tokens are. We are not taking them away. We are not trying to steal them. No interest in that.
No, definitely no interest. Samuel, I don't remember that I put in an article that the tokens were burned already, just that we were executing the buyback and burn. If I did so, I apologize. It was a miscommunication. But basically, the situation is it was because of a technical error that we haven't been able to burn the token yet. We'll share the address, where we can also share the transactions that we made to buy back the tokens. That shouldn't be a problem, and we will share this transparently with you guys. We won't do anything with those tokens, but burn them.
Yes. We even have a slide, like when I was doing the buybacks and copying the data. Even somehow we ended up with a little bit more MSP than we were supposed to. I was like, this looks weird, but well, okay, we have even a little bit more to burn. So yeah, on this note, I guess we can wrap it up. On this note, let me summarize it. It's it's been very nice reading those questions today, this morning on our community forum. These are really well thought through questions. Some of them were around for quite some time now, so me and Dylan really felt like we have to clarify and answer all those questions. And from this point on, we can continue doing so every now and then. And from there, what's happening in our company, it's an amazing atmosphere here, and the team is as strong as ever. And everybody is super pumped and excited about our goals to launch the exchange, and people see how they can contribute to this large goal. With this whole new office thing, we finally moved in here. It's super nice. Nobody really wants to leave in the evening. We are hanging out, and day in, day out. So things are looking very well.
Yeah, thank you for asking the questions on the community platform. Really appreciate it. We'll start more discussions there as well. We'll share about the burn tokens there, share the explanation, share the wallet addresses, the transactions. You'll be able to see that they were actually bought back when we communicated they were bought back. It's just the problem was
I kept the log of every trade that I made to buy them back, so there is a log with like hit BTC and Cryptopia transactions in an Excel file. We can share that as well, no issue with that.
I'd be happy to. Yeah, thank you so much. We understand that nothing will make you guys happy as much as launching the exchange, so we'll do our best to make that happen as soon as possible. We'd set ourselves the deadline for December, and we're making everything possible to make that happen. So we're doing everything possible to make that happen.
Yes, that's exactly it. And now the question of the day, have you thought of how you can stop us from live without crawling here?
No, I have to crawl in front of the camera to stop us live. Thank you guys for attending. If there's any other questions that you guys would like to have answered, or there's any uncertainty about the questions or the answers we provided, please ask them in the Telegram community, and I'll see if I can make a post on the community platform about it to clarify.
Also with the community platform, the asynchronous mode suits me better as well than dropping by into Telegram group. It's don't get me wrong, it's nice to drop by our Telegram group, and thank you guys. You usually are so kind to me and like ask questions, and I'm happy to give some updates. But it's very it's a very engaging thing, and I usually have to dedicate some time consciously to do that. When with the forum, I also have an account there, and I see all the new topics. So if you want to have a conversation with me as well, I will be able to answer there on the launch Mothership 6, and also contribute to the it's all gone. Also contribute to the discussions happening there. So right. On this note, even our laptops disagree with us that we should wrap it up. Thank you guys. Thank you. It was very nice.